I guess every DJ that started at one point is thinking about producing music at the other point, and for some people it takes like 2 months to think about it, and for the others it's like 10 years or something. But at one point every DJ starts to think about producing his own music, because everyone thinks you can do it better.
Right.
And on the other hand, I'm running a label. It's called Innervisions. It's a sub-label of a German label called Sonar Kollektiv that is owned, and it's Jazzanova running it. And I'm working together with them for quite a long time now. And just lately I realized, okay, I want to do a house division on this label, because Sonar Kollektiv is a very open-minded label that is bringing out totally different stuff. But at some point I decided, okay, for the house heads we need to make clear that there's a sub-label and it's bringing out only house music. So if you have a new release of Innervisions, which is the name of my label, you know it's going to be house. And that's why I started it.
So when did you start the label?
Actually just, what is it now, 4 months ago, so we have 3 releases now, and yeah.
Well, that's quick that you put out those releases.
Yeah, but since I'm around for like 10 or 12 years or something, I met a few people over the years that I'm constantly in contact with, and there's a friendship going on, and these are producers and they have tracks that I want to bring out. So, and we have a schedule that says that we try to bring out every month 1 release, which is 12 releases a month and a year, and this makes 1 CD a year. And I think that's a good balance of not bringing too much out, where, you know, there's a lot of labels that bring out every week a record, and if I like number 45 and I'm listening to 46 to 51, I just don't like the other records. So, and there's a few labels that bring out like 2 records a year, and I wish they would bring out more. So I'm kind of trying to do the balance between bringing out constantly stuff but quality stuff.
Right. Well, so who's on the label?
It's Alex from Tokyo, which is a DJ that is obviously from Tokyo, and he...
But isn't he from a bunch of other places?
Quite an interesting guy, because he actually is from France, which makes him French, but he was growing up in Tokyo, which gives him a very much Japanese character, and now he's living in New York.
Right.
And so we have like these influences from all over the place, and that makes him very special, I would say. And then there's guys called Am, or Ame, like other people say. And there's now coming a new an Edges, and then there's an iCube coming, and myself, I'm going to release stuff there. Henrik Schwarz is going to bring... So a lot of house DJs that I know from over the last decade or so.
Well, so how did it work with setting up your label, you know, with Sonar Kollektiv? Like, you know, how does that setup work, and how did you get that started?
Well, to explain that, it's I have to say that Jazzanova is an act that is released music on a Munich-based label called Compost. And they were quite successful from the first release on. And with this success, they thought that it might be a good idea to open up a label in the hometown. So, I mean, if I'm bringing out music on a label in Chicago, Detroit, whatever, it's nice, but there's still a distance there. So, and ideally, you have like your office that you're going to and giving your music to at home, and you just go around the corner and you can speak to the people, you get like direct opinions, and you can look people in the face, because over the phone, you know, it's easier to say stupid things than straight, you know.
Right.
And so they decided, okay, there's a huge scene in Berlin that is was still very underground at the time, and because of the history of the city, there was no business in Berlin, or still is no big business. When you think about Germany, which has like it's a country with a very good economy, You have basically all the companies that really make money. You have them based in Munich or Bavaria, south of Germany, and nothing in Berlin, because Berlin still is a city that was located in former East Germany. So there was no and there was a socialist country, and companies that wanted to invest money into West Germany, they invested it in a city that is based on West Germany, not in West Berlin, which is just a little island in former Eastern Germany. And so you had also all the media companies not coming to Berlin, and you we still have a lot of music companies that are in Hamburg or Munich or Cologne. And just when the wall came down in late 80s, you certainly have the companies certainly saw the chance to go to Berlin, and all of a sudden you had all the music companies coming to Berlin, and you had the first time in Berlin history, I would say, you had not just an underground scene that everyone knows about and everyone loves, but you also had people from that city releasing music. Because when you think about, there's this golden 80s that everyone is speaking about in Berlin, where you have all this crappy underground clubs that are really fucked up places, drugs, new wave sound. David Bowie was there, but still from this very creative scene, there's not a lot of music out of Berlin, because there was no company there picking it really up. Of course you have some examples, but in generally, you always, as a Berlin producer, you always had the feeling that if you would live in Hamburg or in Munich, where all the companies are, you just need to do shit and still get releases, And in Berlin, you always had the feeling, okay, whatever you do here, it's really cool, but no one will make it, And this changed over in the middle of the 90s. Because the wall was down, companies was coming, Berlin was again the capital of Germany, and so everyone hoped or expected that Berlin is going to have it's going to be the new city in Europe. So you had all the people moving to Berlin, and constantly there was not just cool underground stuff happening, there was also music released in Berlin. Yeah.
So, but then how did you, get started with your label underneath Sonar Kollektiv?
And getting back to Jazzanova, thinking about if we would have we have this huge scene here in Berlin, and there's a lot of people doing stuff that we like. So we just started a company in Berlin which was called Sonar Kollektiv, and they basically came to me, asked Jazzanova DJs that are coming from the jazz scene, but were highly influenced by the electronic music scene in the mid-90s. And so they decided, okay, we have a lot of knowledge in jazz and old stuff, but when it comes to house music, there might be someone in Berlin that has a better clue. So they came to me and asked me if I would join the company in an A&R way. And it was it was not that I had it on paper or I had a card that I could go out to people, and I didn't have a payment or something, it was just a small company, and we all liked each other and was okay, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Would you do this? And you don't like this, why you don't like this? And all of this, we were I don't know, 6 or 7 people, and we just released music that we liked at this point, and it was not okay, you are the A&R, you get 1,000 euros a month, and now you do your job,
Right.
It was just I think it wasn't even a company in the beginning, And all of this, over the years, there was more and more business going on, and we realized, okay, that's really, really cool to play on Friday and Saturday and Sunday in a club somewhere in the world, and coming back on Monday and being in the office at 8 in the evening. But if you really do business, other people don't like that.
Right.
So there was a time when people was calling the office, and you get constantly the information, he's gonna come. I don't know when, but he's gonna come.
Right.
And that was not really helpful for the business. So at one point we decided, okay, we were growing up now. Actually, when we started it, I think we all were like 22, 23 or something. So it was for all of us like the first experience in this business. And after a while you decide, like, hey, let's do it proper in a way, you know. You don't want to lose the spirit of you're just playing around. But on the other hand, you want to get the experience of like, there's more than just playing around. And on that point we decided, okay, we have office times now. You're gonna come by and, well, actually maybe it's a good idea to do it really your way and be focused on it completely and start your own sub-label. And yeah, that's what I did then. Okay.
And then, but when you guys hooked up, you were like a house DJ in Berlin. I mean, is that how they like?
I started in a techno scene in Berlin, which is a completely different point where scene than Jazzanova started. And I'm 29 now, and I started in 1991 or something. So it was like 14 years ago. And I was pretty young at this time, and I was not really able to get into the clubs actually, but I always found a way to sneak into. And out of this techno scene, it became more and more soulful house DJ or whatever you want to call it. House is like a big term, and when I tell a taxi driver I'm a house DJ, he has the completely different opinion of that what I think. That I think what I am. At some point, Jazzanova, we're playing at a completely jazz, freestyle, fusion club that was really small, and I always thought about them, yeah, okay, they play music, they don't know nothing about DJing, you know, because DJing is more than just playing music, and yeah, they have a really good taste, but it's just student music. And on the other hand, they were thinking about me as like, yeah, he's this house DJ, and it's a druggy thing, you know, but actually they realized at some point that I was not playing just druggy music, I was playing somehow soulful stuff. And on the other hand, I realized, okay, they're booking DJs that I think are kind of house DJs, so what they are doing with them. So I was going over to their club to check them out, actually. The first time, like, proper. And before I even entered the club, one of the Jazzanova guys, Alex, came to me and pointed at me and said, like, okay, you're a Dixon, right? And I was like, yeah. I'm Alex from Jazzanova, and we want you to do a remix. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not really producing. And he was like, yeah, but I know someone that is working with you, so I know you're producing, but you don't have the guts to bring it out, so we want you to do a remix for us. I was like, no, I think I'm not ready for this, but I'm gonna come by Monday in the office, and we're gonna speak about it. And yeah, Monday I came, and since that, it was like 6 or 7 years ago, I'm there every day, you know. So
right.
It was a constant, okay, you can learn from me, I can learn from you, you can learn from me. And I think what you're saying is totally stupid, but I convince you from what I'm saying, and it was constantly like coming from completely different scenes, but having a feeling for similar things and like discussing about it.
And what would your, I guess you were talking about the different ways of seeing a house DJ.
Yeah.
What would be your, definition of like a house DJ?
Well, when I started to play, and I mean, not really started to play international or whatever, really playing at home in this bar around the corner or something. It was a time when it was really, you were really able to play all night long. Because this is basically in Berlin in 1991, 1992, 1993, where you had a lot of underground clubs popping up. And there was no money that you could spend on like superstar DJs from all over the world, and there were not so much superstar DJs like today, where you think everyone is a superstar DJ. And so basically the clubs gave people from the city the opportunity to play. So when you play in Berlin, all night means you're playing from 11 to like 8 in the morning. So you play 9 hours, and even if you're really deep into one really special field there, within 9 hours you play different stuff.
Right.
Compared to today, where DJs from hometowns usually are playing from the first hour, because before the guest DJ comes by, you know, and doing maybe the last hour when everyone left already. So back in these days, you really get the experience of like playing a long set and really understanding what it means to play in front of a empty club, which means you don't put up the volume, you just play slow, low level, you know.
Like last night.
And then, and down tempo or just not aggressive, and coming to the point where people are there and you get the feeling of, okay, there's like 20 people there and it would be nice if 2 people of them would dance, but no, I don't play dance music now, because if I play it now, later on there's no step higher than this, you know, so I still really try to keep it low, you know, and wait until really enough people are there before really plug the dance tracks, you know, so you get the experience of what it means to play all night and play the prime time, and have the, you know, the guts to play at 4 o'clock at the prime time a tune that is maybe not a prime time tune, but because you play 5 more hours, you know, you have enough time to play the other records that you know they're going to work, you know. So, and this experience is gone today, and due to this experience, you really, me as a DJ, I really was open-minded to different house things, you know. I mean, there's this techie house stuff, there's broken beat stuff, there's vocal stuff, there's disco stuff, there's a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of DJs that are just playing one kind of it, but I'm playing constantly, you know, different stuff, and there's the year 2001 where I'm really influenced by Jazzanova, for instance, which means I'm playing a lot of broken beat records, and there's 2005 where I'm really influenced by a lot of techie stuff, like Carl Craig, so I'm playing maybe the same tempo, but a completely different feeling, different beats, you know, different arrangement, and so it's really hard to explain a house DJ, because a real house DJ is for me someone who plays every kind of house, you know.
Right. But you said before you were doing the house, you were playing techno?
Yeah, I was playing actually drum and bass and techno. I mean, it's in the early 90s when you're saying you're playing drum and bass, or it was called breakbeat or jungle at this time, it was still the same tempo than house or techno. I mean, maybe it was 5 to 10 BPM faster or whatever, but with the pitch you could adjust the tempo and play different styles into 1 hour, and people were not thinking about, hey, that's completely different music. Where you go today, you go in a drum and bass club and you listen to drum and bass there, or you go in a techno club and you go to listen to techno there. And in the early 90s it was, you know, very close by. So even when I say I come from the techno or the drum and bass scene, you know, it was all a mixture of this. For instance, when you have like Lil Louis, a very famous house producer that produced French Kiss, for instance, that everyone knows, he was producing in January a vocal house record, and then he's producing on 115 BPM, and then the next month he was producing an acid techno track, the same person. And this is gone today, you know, like you have the techno DJ, you have the techno producer and the house producer, house DJ and drum and bass and so on, you know. And so yeah, I was playing, I'm coming from the techno scene, but it was all like a mesh of different styles at this time.
And I read that you used to have a residency at Tresor, right?
Yeah.
And what would you play there? Because I mean, for me, I think of that place and it's like banging and you know, German dudes without their shirts on, like sweaty and.
You're right, but the club was opened. Actually, the club was opened at this time Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 different days. So obviously you had different DJs playing there, different styles, and me and my partner at this time, DJ Clay, we started actually a Wednesday night, which was the first house night at the Tresor Club. And if you've been to Tresor Club, the club is made in a way that you have different floors, and you also have like an entrance that fits like 80 people or something, maybe 50, I don't know. And we actually started in this entrance our house night there. And it was summer, and was the garden around Tresor, and all of a sudden, within 3 months or something, there was like 500 people showing up, 400 outside, 100 in this really tiny space. And when it became winter, the club was thinking about, you know, doing it again, or still doing it, but the space was too small, so they moved it to the house, or to the big floor in the Tresor Club. And that's how I ended up at Tresor, yeah.
So how many years?
It was my first really club night that I was really running, yeah.
How many years did you do that for?
Actually, I did it 1 year.
1 year.
Because the whole idea of this was like, when we started it, it was summer, and there was a beautiful garden around Tresor, and we thought like, okay, it's Wednesday night, and we just want to play some music, you know, and Tresor offered to not take an entrance. So people just come by, you know, don't need to think about paying an entrance. Maybe just go into the garden and don't really enter the club or whatever. And we really liked this summer thing. And when it became winter, and it was successful, because actually they did it because they didn't expect it that it's going to be anyhow successful. So they thought like, let's just do it, you know. But at the point where it was successful, they decided, okay, it's winter now, you know, of course we closed the garden, because winter in Berlin is quite cold, you know.
Right.
And so we have like 2 bars open in the club, you know. We offer a really good sound system now, and we have like a VJ going on, so we should take some money at the door, you know. And so they took like €8 or German marks at this time, and we thought that this is not really what we wanted to do there, and it became like a really successful but normal night, and we decided, no, we're going out there. And actually this night was called Bonito House Club, and I think it was 96 or whatever, and it was still running. The same night without us was still running till 2005. The Tresor Club just closed 6 months ago or something. And yeah, it was still every Wednesday there was like 1,000 people going there then, because it was the only space in the city where you could go out properly on Wednesday, but without us, and without house, because it was techno then.
Well, do you do a night in Berlin now, like a?
Yeah, there's this club called Weekend, which is in the center of the city, and it's on. Berlin is not very high. There's not like tons of skyscrapers around. It's just like a very flat city. And this building is one of the few skyscrapers, because it's like, I don't know, it's 14 floors or something. And the club is on the 12th floor. And you have no other high buildings around. So it's actually, you can like, it's 12th floor, it's windows all around, and you can have a nice view over the city. You have a really good sound system. And I play there every 3rd week or like once a month or something. It's not really regularly. It's not like I have the first Friday or Saturday. No, it's like I would do every 3 weeks or something.
And is that like an Innervisions night or something? Or just...
Yeah, it's called Innercity actually.
Okay.
And it's basically me playing all night long, like on months 1, and on the other months I have someone coming over that I really like, and the night is, luckily enough right now, really successful, because I have the feeling that the house music is like really coming back right now. Like within Europe, the last 3 years were really dominated by electro and minimal tech house or something. And right now I really have the feeling that people are really getting back into house music or just different stuff. And so this my residency like 2 years ago was not really good, but right now it's really good. So I have the opportunity to just invite people that I met over the years and maybe don't really have a big name or something, but I think they're really good DJs, and I know them for a while, and I can just bring them over because the night is really successful, and it doesn't matter. I don't need to book Eric Murillo or whatever banging house DJ to fill up the club. No, it's full anyway, so I can book whoever I want to.
How do you think the Berlin scene has changed from, you know, back when you first started to now, you know?
I think one of the main difference of the scene in Berlin was always that the people that were really doing the clubs were actually owning the spaces, or let's say that at the beginning it was people that were doing the parties were really doing everything there, and which means you had to really, Berlin is very much like you have a lot of empty spaces and people just going in there doing parties, and after 4 months or something the police is coming by and like shutting it down. And but within this 4 months the club was like running good or not. If it's not running good, you know, well, it doesn't matter that the place is shut down, but if it was running good, the same people were doing the next space like a half year later. And maybe because it was successful in the first place, in the next space they were not just renting the sound system, they were like having their own sound system. And after whatever 6 months, this place was shut down again, and after like doing this like 3 or 4 years, these people like started to have the money to actually rent a space officially and do a proper club. So back in the days you had like a really lot of like empty buildings that they just stole, you know, and now you have like the same people. They were doing this one-off parties back in the days, having their own clubs. Like, even if the Tresor is closed now, the guy that was running it was really like back in the days the guy that was running like really one-off parties, you know. Or there's another famous club in Berlin that is called WMF, and it was also like, it's a 10 years history of this club, where this club was changing the venue every year, and from being completely illegal to now being completely official, it's still the same people that are doing it, you know. And that's like a really good thing, because you don't have like, I don't know, in other cities that I'm going to, there's always this point where I'm playing in this whatever club, and then the guy that booked me is introducing me to the owner of the space. Right. And that is like, I don't know, a 45 years old guy that just invested money in something and don't right. care about anything but the money, you know. And so you have all these clubs in the world where people running the first Saturday and the second Saturday, it's completely different people doing it, you know, because there's just someone behind it that just owns the place, wants to see money, and he's just renting it. And in Berlin, it's really like, I would say 8 out of 10 clubs, it's really, the owners are really doing the parties there, and this is actually very special. And even it comes to the doorkeepers, you know, they're really connected to the club. It's not like yesterday when I was playing in this club, there was someone working at the door that didn't care, you know. He's a security guy, you know, he's doing his job. Maybe he's a nice guy and he's doing a job good, you know, but he's completely not connected to the music. Which means if he's saying, okay, you have to bring down the music in 5 minutes, that's really what he wants, you know. It's not like in Berlin, it's kind of like, okay, you're going to bring down the music in like 1 hour or something, so I can think about how I end up the night, you know. And even if there's a situation where, hey, we have to close in 10 minutes, you know, it's like I'm saying, okay, I need 15 minutes because I want to play this song as the last song to finish the night in a good way, you know. And the guy would say, okay, do it, you know. And yesterday, for instance, was like, okay, you have 5 more minutes and we have to, you know, and he was doing the lights on, you know, to tell the people, okay, it's over now, you have to leave. Something like this would never happen in Berlin, you know. It's kind of like people owning the space, they decide when they have to close it, and the door guy works at the door, you know, so that's his job, you know. And even the bar guys, you know, or girls, you know, it's always the same that you see, and people you see people dancing in 2003 in this club, and you see them in 2005 working there and earning money there. So there's a strong connection between everyone that works in the club. It's maybe not like a happy family, but there's a connection, and this is the nightlife, you know. And it's not like it's just a job. I need to earn money on Saturdays, so I walk at the door in this whatever nightclub, you know.
Well, do you have any other, you know, favorite DJs that are around now that, you know, you're into, or?
Yeah, there's this guy called Christian from A&Ring, which is on my label also, and he's a really, really good DJ. And I think there's tons of DJs around. I could give you like 10 names now, you know. And also there's a DJ for every situation, you know.
Right.
I mean, when I'm going out, for instance, and I want to enjoy myself, I don't want to go to I'm a deep house DJ, whatever, you know, it is exactly. I don't want to go to a deep house club, you know. It's like what I'm working in the studio on this music, you know. I'm listening to it in the office. I'm playing it on the weekends. So if I'm going out, I want something else, you know. And it's even really hard for me to have an opinion about other deep house DJs, because they're doing the same, you know. And yes, they may be a little bit better or not so good, whatever, but I really don't have a serious opinion about them or something, you know. And so when I enjoy myself, I go to a techno club, or I go to a hip hop club, or to a rock concert or whatever, you know. That's actually much more interesting. So it's not like I'm going around in my scene and I want to see the superstar DJ there or whatever, and I want to have an opinion about him now. It's not like that.
Well, so with your own productions, you have, I mean, are you doing? I know you have this Wahoo thing. So how did that get started?
There's, as I told you on Sonar Kollektiv, which is the label there. There's a lot of different music coming out there, and which means there's a lot of completely different people sending demos to Sonar Kollektiv. And there was this one guy called Georg Levin who was sending a demo with a lot of soulful productions, most of them down tempo, but some of them up tempo. And I got this demo, and I picked 2 of the tracks that I liked and told him to produce them properly, that I can like bring them out. And he told me, well, that's everything I can do. I have like a 2-track at my home, and I'm playing the Rhodes and I'm playing the bass and all this, but I can't produce it better. So I offered him to produce it for him. And out of this, we became friends, and the first 2 tracks were pretty successful for the label, actually. And me as a DJ, without any music background, I was never playing piano or guitar or bass or whatever. I was just playing records, and when I started to produce in the studio, I started to think about harmonies and all that, you know. And so it was a perfect match of him, like having really like a musical background, and I could actually tell him what I want to, and he was playing keys on my productions. And there came a point where it was not just me producing a track that he wrote, or I'm doing a remix for whatever project and he's playing some keys for me. There was a moment where we decided, you know what, actually we could do a project out of it, you know, and really make a name and, you know, do it together. And that's why we decided to start at Wahoo. And it was actually because we did a remix for Jazzanova, and it was the first time that he was doing not just the keys, he was doing more, that I felt like, okay, I mean, he's such a big part of it now that we have to give it this remix a different name than just the Dixon remix. And somewhere in the liner notes you see keys played by Georg Levin or something. I thought like, okay, he's much more, he has done much more in this than ever before. So we just call it a Wahoo mix. And from that point on, we were thinking about doing a house album that is not a really house album, because we realized that even if I really love this music, there's just over the last, and this music is around for like 20 years or something, there's maybe 3 or 4 house albums that I really like, and I think we wanted to do a vocal house album, and that was our big goal, and we're still sitting there and finishing it now, and yeah.
When do you think that's going to get finished?
It has to be finished in February. And I was saying this like 1 year ago, but now it's really, it's a deadline, so it needs to be finished in February.
So how does it work when you two go into the studio together?
There's 2 different things. First is like we're jamming, and we have no idea what we want, but we're just playing around, and that means it could go in every direction. And the rest of the tracks, it's basically, this is like 50% of the stuff that we're doing, and the other 50% it's my partner Georg, who is actually, I would say he's a songwriter, because he really has all the sketches where he is writing the lyrics, writing the melodies, and having a really rough idea of how the track is going to be, and then he's bringing it to me, and he's playing it to me, and I might like it, or I just hate it. And if I like it, we're thinking about how to produce it. I mean, in which direction to go, if we want to have it like a live productions, like with a live bass or Rhodes or whatever, or if you want to have it a electronic track, you know. So it's kind of like from the sketch on, we think about in which direction we want to go, and then we go to it.
Well, when you say you guys, you know, the other thing you do when you just start jamming, how does that work when you tour? I mean, are you playing keyboards as well, or do you bring in a record, or that?
Yeah, mostly it's like I'm producing some beats, or even on the beats we're sitting together now, and you never can say that, because it could, you know, when you're thinking about jamming and you're 2 persons, you know, there's timing is important. So maybe I'm coming in having a coffee and having my breakfast, and he is already there, and he's playing some keys on the Rhodes, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, stop, I like that. And then it goes on from there, or
right.
He is late, or he is somewhere performing, and I'm in the studio and producing some beats, or having a bass line or whatever, and playing around, and thinking, okay, that's quite nice, I could, you know, work with Georg on it, you know. So it's like, it's not like a formula that you're going by, you know. Jamming, I think, is never a formula, you know.
Right. Well, when you guys go into the studio together, I mean, do you have like a time that you guys, I mean, I know you're saying, is it like a 9 to 5 thing for you, or is it, you know, you go later?
It never was, but since there's a serious deadline now it is. So it's like, I'm not allowed to do any other thing than going to the studio from Monday to Thursday now, you know. So yes, there's a daytime studio time now that's there for sure, and if you feel like you go on at night, you know.
Do you have like a Wahoo thing that you wanted to play, or?
Yeah. So since we're working on the album for quite a while now, there's one single released already that came out last year on Sonar Kollektiv, and now it's just came out 3 months ago on Defected record again, and it's this one.
So did this come out on Defected? Is that?
Yeah, it just came out 3 months ago. Yeah, it was released on Sonar last year actually, and then Defected just picked it and said like, okay, you know, we like the track, but we think no one heard it yet, even if it was for Sonar Kollektiv, which is an independent small label. It was actually a quite successful track, but Defected, which is like really big label, thought like they can do much more with it, and so it came out again. Yeah.
But you've done other mix CDs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how would you put those together? The same way, or?
It depends. I've done, maybe it's like 5 mix CDs or something, and half of them is it's mixed in the club. You know, like I think never like a really live set at like 2 o'clock at Saturday night, and you start to press record, and then you stop it at some point. But mixed like in the club at Monday afternoon, where I thought about what's going to be on, and then I just mixed it, you know. And the other one is, the other half is done in Pro Tools.
And which do you prefer to?
There's this argument about, you know, as a DJ, you have to do it live at the CD players or at the vinyl players, whatever. But I don't think so. I think on a mix CD, it's not about proving that you are the best, technically best DJ in the world. If you want to check this, come to the club and listen to me, and you know, make your opinion. And so I think the mix CD is about the music actually, and so it doesn't matter for me how it's done. But if you do it in Pro Tools, for instance, you can do it oh so precisely, and if you start to do it very precise, then you don't find an end. You think, oh, this could be a little bit better, and this, and even all the process there takes long. When you do it in a club or at home or whatever on your system, it's 70 minutes and then it's over. And maybe you don't like it the first try and you do it a second time, but then again it's 2 hours. And when you do it at Pro Tools, it just takes 2 hours to put in the files, you know, and you're sitting there for like 1 day and making all your whatever, you know, things there, volume changes and EQ changes and whatever you can do there, and it's a pain in the ass to do it. So of course it's better in the terms of you can do the best mix ever there, technically, like DJ beat mixing wise or something, but it's no fun, you know, it's just no fun, it goes on your nerves. So the next one I'm going to do live again because it's just faster and it's fun doing it, you know, because you're standing there, you're touching it, and you just do your job. And working on Pro Tools or whatever program you use on the computer, you know, you look, even just the way that you look on your files gives you already completely different feeling of the music, you know. It's like, then you're thinking about, you see the hi-hat there, or you see the vocal in the track because it's a, you know.
Right.
And then you start to use your eyes and your brain starts, and when you're playing music you don't see anything, you know, it's just like maybe you see the time that is left, you know, or how much is like left on the vinyl, but that's all you see, you know, and that's like, so you just feel, you know, and that's much more spontaneous, and it's, and faster, you know.
Right. So do you have a mix CD coming out next year, or?
Nothing is like agreed there yet, but there's 2 plans that we have. Yeah.
And how do you feel the mix CDs, the ones that you've done, you know, have helped you along with like DJ bookings and things like that? I mean,
yeah, they help, of course. I mean,
but it's not as much as production and.
The thing is that I don't know how much people of you know me, but I'm not really a well-known artist in this world, you know. I think when it comes to the DJs in the world, I think everyone knows me. I have a quite established name in this, you know, but I never had a hit out, or I never had like an album out, which really makes you like as an artist, you're recognized by the press then, and you get reviews, bad or good, but you have something out there. Everything I was doing remix. I was a DJ, and I had like I was playing in Berlin for like 12 years, and since a lot of DJs from all over the world came to Berlin to play Berlin, because Berlin is such a beautiful city and everyone wants to come there once, you know. So I had a lot of people from all over the world in my club that I invited, and that was like a big, also like it opened goals for me, you know, to go somewhere else. And once I had a mix CD out, there was like, it was the first time for the media to really write about a project of me, you know. And that really helped a lot, I have to say. And luckily enough, there was not writing really bad about it, so that's why it helped, maybe.
Switch around. Are there any artists now that you're really you know, into at the moment, or I mean?
Henrik Schwarz, it's someone that I'm really into it. Lindström, it's someone that I really dig right now. Quentin Harris is someone from New York that I'm really respecting for doing really good vocal productions. And Carl Craig.
And with label-wise, any labels that
No.
have been...
I think there's no label around that I just trust.
Really?
There's good music everywhere, and but maybe Planet E, for instance, the Carl Craig label, but then again, I think there's no label around that is releasing 10 records and I like 10 of them. You know?
Your own label or anything? Yeah.
Of course, I love my own label, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I heard you own a sandwich shop in Berlin. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is this like another way of being able to DJ full time? Is you have to have the sandwich shop, or?
I have to say, I'm 29 and not that old, so when I'm saying that never in my life, it actually means nearly nothing. But I have to say that never in my life I was really doing it, having a decision made by thinking about something really long. Like when I was 5 or something, I was into soccer, and I played for a football team, and it was not like how my dad was telling me I have to play soccer, or I thought I have to play soccer. I was just doing it. And I had problems with my knees, and when I was 12, so I was playing on a semi-professional level, and I had to stop playing soccer, and then I was doing long running after, but it was naturally going on. And when I was 16, I had also to stop this because, again, I had problem with my knees. And all of a sudden, I was going, like, when I was 15 or something, the first time in my life to a nightclub. I was never going to discotheques before, whatever. The first time I was going out to a Tresor club. So, and it was hitting me straight away. And within 2 weeks, I was on the turntables, you know. So it was not like I was thinking about I have to be a DJ or somehow. It just happened. And with the shop now, it's completely the same. I was not thinking about, hey, you know, music business is running bad or something, you know, I have to do something else, I have to invest money somehow, you know. No, the story is that we have a football club that we founded, people from the scene, because we wanted to play football once a week, and 1 year after we started a bar where we were screening football, because we thought that places where you could watch football were always very crap. So we just wanted to have a really small little thing where we all could just hang out on Wednesday night and Saturday days to watch the football games. And after 2 years or something, it was running so well that we had like, okay, now we have a place for a midweek hangout spot, so let's have a daytime hangout spot and start a sandwich shop, you know. And I had no clue how to do it. And it's also, again, a typical Berlin thing, you know. I don't really know about Seattle, but I have the feeling I couldn't do it here because I guess the prices in like a proper street when you want to open a shop here, you can't afford as a DJ. But in Berlin, you have like all this like empty shops somewhere around, you know, and you have like this really cool streets where you can places rent for 600 euros a month, you know, and if you're like 2 persons that have an idea of doing a shop, you know, that's not such a high risk, you know, you can just try it. So you have like galleries popping up everywhere, just trying to be a good gallery, you know, and a lot of them closing after like half a year, but people were trying it and they were not losing tons of money. They were just trying it, it was not working well, okay, they tried, you know. So it was the same for us. We thought, yeah, we have a really good taste, you know, we know how good coffee has to be, what's good sandwich, so let's do it, you know. And now it's running for 3 years and it's good, it's running good.
In the music business, how are you finding the MP3 market for dance music in particular? Do you think that you're getting a fair shot from the people that run legal downloading sites? Or do you think that because it's dance music and maybe therefore in the eyes of the people that run things like iTunes, is it any less important and are you getting any less coverage? Any thoughts?
Well, over the last years, like everyone heard already, that the music industry is doing really bad and the numbers of sales are going really down. But on the same time, the artists are not earning less money than before. So, like the GEMA, which is the company in Germany that has the rights on the music, how do you say it? Thorsten, wie sagt man das? Huh?
Collecting agency.
Yeah, the collecting agency, yeah. They're writing really good numbers because the problem is that the company is earning less money because the sales of CDs or vinyl is going down, but there's the ringtones, there's the digital downloads, there's like more and more TV companies in the world that are doing own productions and needing music for it. So me as a person that is bringing out a track, I might sell just half of that what I was selling 5 years ago or something, but because there's more markets like the MP3 market or the ringtone markets that I maybe don't really like or something, but it's there, I still earn the same money with the same music. And me as a DJ, I don't like the MP3 format. I think it sounds crap, and I think you can hear it, especially in a club. You might not hear it in a car. You might not hear it at your shitty sound system at home or in the office or whatever. So it works there, but especially in a club where it's a lot about the bass, for instance, I don't like MP3. But I think it's a really easy access for people to get music. You can just listen something in the radio and you can have instant access to it. And that's like a big step, I think, for the music. So first of all, I really like that it's there, this market, this digital market. It's just an extra market for me as an artist or as a label owner. And when it comes to the share that we get out of it, I really don't really have a final opinion about it already now. I think it's an extra money that we cash in. You don't really need to do something for it. You don't need to take the risk to produce a record and press 10,000 records because you expect that it's going to be a really big track and then it's selling 2,000 records and you really lost a lot of money. You know, you give it to an internet company, to a download portal, and if they sell it, they sell it. If not, not. And of course you have to do, like, you find your way through, like, which company is good and what's the best strategy to do it. But I think it's an extra market, and the money that comes in there now, I think it's quite okay.
I agree.
Huh? Playing music, yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to play one of the tracks from our album that is coming out, which is a non-house track, and then after this I'm going to play, in my opinion, the best house track of 2005. Yeah. So the first one is Wahoo.